Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, so this is going to be a divine feminine check-in. First of all, I'm just going to shuffle and see what do the divine feminines need to know about their connection at this time. So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What do the DFs need to know? DFs on the left, DMs on the right. Connection space in the middle and near future. Okay. Wow. We got a lot of cards is why I'm saying wow. For divine feminines, seek higher guidance. This is the spiritual seeker card, laying the burden at the altar and remembering to ask. You and you and you and you all asking source, not tarot readings, not first and foremost tarot readings, but really asking for higher guidance. So this is telling me that there might be a little bit of an over dependency on trying to make your story fit to tarot readings. So remove that, back away from it, go straight to your own intuitive take on everything you're experiencing. For the masculines, we are getting 10 of Cups, 7 of Cups. So there's an ascension happening. This is the spiral helix DNA towards ultimate happiness. So there's an upgrade. This is telling me masculines are giving themselves permission to go towards their happiness. They are walking away from things that don't emotionally serve so they can clear their heads, clear their minds to see what they really do want. They're envisioning a higher love, an unconditional love, and we get the 2 of Cups here. Yeah, so they are really wanting harmony. They want the real deal. In the connection space, we have the Indigo, which is the Magician here. Feminines, you are manifesting your union by asking for divine guidance directly. If you are not tuning into your own internal guidance, even without tarot, even without other people's opinions, even without the signs in the 3D, if you're not tuning in and completely navigating this journey through your connection to source, you're not going to be manifesting a divine union. That's just the way it works. If you're not in alignment with that, you're not going to manifest a divine union. So get into it. Any of the questions that you are curious about your masculine, ask yourself those very same questions. For instance, is my masculine leaving karmic situations? Ask yourself, am I leaving karmic situations? If your masculine is thinking about your connection and what are they feeling, tune into, are you actually thinking about your connection and what are you honestly feeling? Not your fears, not wishful thinking, but tune in, sit with yourself, feel, connect with source, hone your ability to be sensitive to what's going on for you first person. And masculines are manifesting these connections as well through figuring out what they want, leveling up out of things that don't emotionally support, learning what love actually is. And so by studying that, it's revealing the love that is here for the masculines. What can we see going into the future? Wow, we have a king and a queen, the king of crystals and the queen of swords. But the first step here is the 10 of swords, which is the abandonment wound. And, in this deck, it's kind of effervescent. It's like when the cringe is leaving and things are starting to lighten. Masculines and feminines both have crown chakra awareness here. Well, third eye and crown chakra. So there's a higher knowing for both that's bringing both up and out of these abandonment wounds. So right now the masculines are learning to be in tune with their intuition, or are about to, and feminines are learning to align with logic, stability, reason, and to not go running on falsehoods and fallacies. So both are becoming more accurate, interpreting scenarios. That this implies that both have been prone to feeling rejected by the other. Each counterpart is manifesting union here, is desiring it, working towards union. And what's hidden in plain sight is that both have been working against the union by assuming the other one has been rejecting or abandoning them. Okay, so let's see what the emotions are for the feminines going to source. Happiness. I'm aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. So feminines, you are asking for happiness coming in, joy to return, joy to come into the journey. What can we see for the masculines? Perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Yeah, so this has to do, masculines, with leveling up, staying with it, being disciplined with this improvement, walking away from things that do not serve, putting in the time and energy to determine what would really make your heart and spirit sing, and to see what true love really is, love in action. This is almost a studious energy, and for feminines, this is a letting go. Going back to an easier way of being. Okay, so let's get into what are the DFs, thinking, feeling, all the usual daily counterpart instant or aspects here. But actually, let's do, what do the divine feminines need to know about the journey? Because I don't want, with that message coming out, I don't necessarily want the divine feminines to be relying on this and looking at where the divine feminine energy is and then trying to copy that to become a divine feminine. You can tune into righteous energies like that, but the messages here are saying that you're meant to be learning how to do this first person. It's not mastery if you're relying on somebody else or some other thing like a tarot reading to tell you what that is. Yes, you can tune into it and see if you resonate, but if you're using it to emulate it and you don't actually understand it, then it's just copycat, which maybe you can reverse engineer it that way, but you've got to know first person what love is in order to actually be satisfied in love. Okay, so let's have a look. What do the feminines need to know? Thank you, Divine Creator, for bringing through. What do the feminines need to know about the journey? About their connection, about their counterpart, about their heart space, about their heart regarding their counterpart, about manifestation, about the actions that they are feeling to take, about the biggest challenge, the solution, and the energies in the near future. One more shuffle. Okay, and what do the divine masculines get to see here? Okay, thank you, Divine Creator. What can we see for how the feminines are meant to be looking at the connection right now? Lord of material troubles. There's something brewing in the material realm right now that demands focus, attention, and possibly even answers from higher guidance right now. So feminines, you might be feeling like you're not sure what to do next in your connection. This is a nudge that you are meant to be doing something to focus right in front of you. So pull your energy back from your masculine right now. Really focus on being diligent to balance out anything that trouble in paradise, I'm hearing. So don't try to escape what is right in front of you prematurely to, go towards your connection or make decisions that would go towards your connection right now. Really focus on being accountable. What do the masculines need to know about this? Yeah. Magician in the inverse. Masculines, you don't really need to do anything right now. This is allowing the spaciousness. This is saying don't manifest anything. Don't try to push for anything right now. Allow your feminine the grace to finish cleaning up whatever this material realm issue might be that's happening right now for them. Let them sort without influencing directly. Your feminine is not going to be forgetting about you. They still love you. They still want union with you. You don't have to do anything. And in fact, the divine guidance here is to sort of stay out of the way for the next little bit and let the feminines handle. So that doesn't mean not be in communication. It just means don't push an agenda. Don't try and get a result. That doesn't mean you have to be all or nothing. You can still communicate with your feminine, but let them come through whatever it is they're needing to deal with in their physical at this time. What do the feminines need to know about their counterpart? Lord of Wealth. So we're getting material trouble, which is the 5 of Pentacles, and then we're getting the 10 of Pentacles, Lord of Wealth. So whenever I get half of the same suit like this, especially the 5s and the 10s, I look at it as both sides of the energy. So 7 of Swords is kind of keeping one eye on your masculine. Your masculine is also dealing with something in the material realm right now that, because we're looking at the masculine here as the other side of this energy, just rest assured your masculine is mirroring something in the material realm that's going to be teaching them or up-leveling them out of material trouble and towards being a counterpart that can match for this abundance and wealth coming in. So when we're looking at the masculine's energy, feminines, it's a tandem effort in the 5D. Both are learning to be self-directed, self-realized, in alignment with the divine, using their free will to do this first person, not looking outside of themselves for this. Advice for the masculines: Hermit mode and the star path of destiny. So the Hermit always looks at this promise, this higher timeline, and it is facing towards the feminines here. So masculines, yes, just because you're not being asked to push forward with an agenda or making stuff happen right now doesn't mean that you can't be savvy and still in tune to this shared destined path that you have. Don't deny to yourself. Don't try to suppress what you're feeling for your feminine. You're not wrong to feel like there's something bigger brewing between the two of you, in tandem with the two of you right now. You're both focused on some kind of a material realm maturity, coming through a rite of passage, decision making, accountability, trial and error, trailblazing. If you handle yourself with integrity and compassion, and you keep your eye on the higher love, higher timelines, you will come through anything unscathed, masculines. And the feminines are doing their share of this at this time. What can we see for the heart space? What do the feminines need to know? Yeah, the Lovers, and then the card of free will. So feminines, you can look at things in many, many ways. Keep your sights set on higher love. Don't disintegrate into pettiness or suffering. At this time, keep your frequency focused on channeling higher guidance. We have children of the voice of the divine here, the Lovers. So both you and your counterpart are learning to really align with that higher guidance. What is the advice for the masculines? Here's perseverance again. 9 of Wands is the card of perseverance. So keep going. This one wand, the Ace of Wands, the inspired path, is going to highlight. You're very close to moving through some sort of karma here, masculines, that's giving way to not only love, but to wealth. So whatever the trials and tribulations, the karmic things, because wands are karma, whatever the karmic lessons are that you're learning how to navigate, they are going to be empowering you. They are like pre-qualifiers for the abundance that's going to be coming in the future. I'm just really drawn to how built this guy is and all the muscles, gladiator status. So masculines, you are surely outdoing yourselves in some regard here. You're shining, you're coming to the forefront. You've never been more capable, is what I'm getting from that. Not that everybody has to look like this dude, but there is some kind of a repetitive motion that you've been going through, masculines, that's been proving yourself on an energetic level, the soul level. It's like a soul level discipline that you've been mastering, sticking with things instead of being in that fickle, hot and cold, weak energy, runner chaser, you know, in and out, player energy, non-committal energy. This is the stick to itness. Yeah, feminines. So keep on the higher love in your own right and just leave your masculines details to them right now. What can we see on the heart space for the divine masculines? What do the feminines need to focus on? Self-love first and foremost. 7 of Wands, bravery. So what I'm hearing with this, feminines, is that you're not meant to be focusing on your masculines so much right now. Give yourself all the time you need to be brave and to do what you need to do right now. Keep your masculine in your heart, but you don't have to be in your masculine polarity, chasing or convincing or making sure your masculine knows you're still there. All that kind of stuff. Just stay with whatever it is on your plate right now and allow on the heart space for it to comfort you, to be a peaceful thing. If there's any challenges, any insecurities, vulnerabilities where you're feeling like you need your masculine there to coddle you or to cuddle you or to make it better right now, your masculine doesn't owe you any of that. Go to the divine. Develop this masterful way of navigating at this time. Your time will come where you will get all of those things with your counterpart, but right now there is so much proving ground on a soul level, learning that we're all capable, and it's not about being alone and trying to be okay with being alone. It's about this productive coming into our own, not being in victim blame, not whining and complaining, not disintegrating and flailing, but seeing your capacity and your magnificence and your heart and your intelligence and your ability to ask the divine to help you solve every manner of problem first person, so you're never codependent again, so that it can be a celebration, feminines. What is the advice for the masculines about this heart space? Now the masculines are getting 5 of Swords. So look at the higher interpretations here, masculines, that this is a rite of passage. You don't have to be in a disintegrated energy either, where you are feeling like there's a low vote of confidence that the two of you are going to come through this. Really focusing on that light at the end of the tunnel, the dawn rising here, what it's all for. This journey has not been in vain, I just heard. So continue to, this says, the 7 of Wands says Lord of Valor. So this is the victory within each of us. The victory story, not the victim story. That's the magic of the 5 of Swords. We can either be in a victim storyline or a victorious, on an energetic level, victorious. What are the manifestations the feminines need to be aware of at this time? 3 of Cups and 8 of Swords, Lord of Shortened Force, both in the inverse. So there's something about the misconception that any kind of friend zoning in this connection meant it was over. So this is more of an understanding of divine timing, the way that these journeys shape us and build trust and faith. So yeah, feminines, you are being guided here to manifest just a deep, deep knowing that everything is how it should be, that partly the spaciousness or the friendliness as opposed to lust, or the focus on the sensual or sexual connection right now, that this has been so that you can learn to free yourself from all manner of suffering internally, externally, and so that your masculine can do the same. That is what pre-qualifies the two to be left standing. The Three of Cups reducing to the two and having the counterparts ready for love, for the long haul, for the long term. What is the advice for the masculines here? Justice. This is the justice that can come in, is when the feminines have peace about the seasons of the connection, and they're no longer fearing they're going to lose out and clamoring to take scraps or desire some rather than wait for the best with you. This is the ultimate justice. Oh, I got doggy hairs in my nose. What can we see for the actions the feminines are being guided to take? Okay, feminines, you are opening up, being emotionally transparent. And Two of Swords, Lord of Peace restored. So that's in the inverse. They're both in the inverse. So there are some emotions potentially that still need to be seen for what they really are. I know in personal readings there's been quite a bit of frustration and hurt feelings, and that's okay. But being honest about what is within your control regarding those things, feminines, and then what you can release and truly let be your masculine's issues. You can go to the divine, you can pray to be shown how to balance out the things that you can control. Oh my goodness, everybody's so tickly. The Two of Swords can be a blockage card. So in the inverse like this, it's also seeing an angle that you haven't seen before. Instead of just assuming your emotions are overwhelming or too big or scary or exhausting or devastating or painful, there's another way of looking at using your emotions as instructions and tools for exploration and discovery, rather than just something that overwhelms and consumes you. You can drop into the middle of your emotions and be able to see the questions and the answers that your emotions are easily bringing to the forefront for you. Masculines, what can we see about that? The Star. So this is part of your feminine's rite of passage to come into this impeccable balance, even keel, emotional mastery, being able to be self-realized, self-contained by connecting to source, and therefore not being confused or distraught about things that are not immediately showing up. Learning more about the inner workings of a process of patience, of the journey. So your feminine is balancing these things out. And you are being given a feminine who can focus on what really matters without being overly emotional within a relationship, who has come into the mastery of their own inner peace, so they're not putting that on you as a burden. What can we see for the biggest challenge for the feminines? King of Swords and Hermit. So literally the biggest challenge is running with fantasy, feminines, creating stories that aren't based in truth, that you haven't taken the time to really tune in and feel into and ask yourself, does my heart feel a crisis about this story I'm telling myself? Or like looking for the accuracy, feeling into, instead of spiraling or inventing things and running with guesswork or illusions or hearsay or photos that you don't know the meaning of. Instead of running with those things, this is saying the challenge is remembering to drop into your heart and ask yourself, is it appropriate that I would be upset about this? Or is it just wishful thinking that my person should be further ahead with honoring me that way? Are you in the kind of mutual connection at this stage that warrants you being upset about something? Honestly, do that scan. Ask yourself if where your connection is at, not the potential you see, but right here today, is it warranted for you to get upset about some of the things you're perceiving? Or is it just tipping you in the direction of understanding what kind of a foundation would need to be laid before you give your heart all in? There's some self-regulation here, feminines. Some practical grounding to be had. What is the awareness for the masculines? Be kind, because it takes two. This is the codependency, and one little aspect of codependency unraveling at a time for both, because again, it takes two. So when we're looking at what is warranted in the connections, this means you can do things that are kind and yet not leading your feminine on. You can still show up and be a friend. You can be a listening ear. You can exchange advice. But when you feel it becoming codependent, you can actually communicate that. You don't have to just remove yourself or ghost or handle it in a way that is disrespectful. You can challenge yourself to be kinder. The Page of Pentacles is my kindness card. Considerate. So it fosters codependency if you if you react to things rather than respond, masculines. So your feminines are learning to come out of running with wild imaginings, and I'm hearing dumping that on the masculine. The feminine is healing in general. And so instead of reacting, if your feminine does approach anything in ways that you feel isn't warranted or grounded enough, this is about gently reminding them that they're safe to not have to be that way. This is where you can have a conversation. You can communicate your side of it. Because if you don't, that's sort of perpetuating codependency. If you withhold some of those things that you're aware of, masculines, this can prevent your feminine from the ability to trust you and to have you there providing a safe container where they can experience their emotions, but that you also are offering your brilliance into the connection. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing based in a romantic or intimate, physically intimate way. This can be you, masculines, beginning to hold space for your feminine's misconceptions, if that's what's going on, and show up unbothered without taking it personally, or better yet, be able to have enough wherewithal to actually support your feminine with a safe gesture or way of looking at things. Present them an angle of approach that you can see that is grounded, instead of an eye for an eye or arguing or closing up and becoming fearful. This is the kind of thing where you can see your feminine as human. So we are seeing the beginning of very good, solid communication coming in, is what I'm getting here. What is the solution to this challenge of the feminine seeing with more accuracy what is truly there instead of inventing anything. Okay, feminines, now we get the Queen of Swords in the inverse and not communicating. So feminines, you're not meant to desire to hash this stuff out with your masculine right now. The messages for the masculines are for their own accountability. So they're doing their best in the dynamics. But your message is also the same here, is you're not meant to be like hunting your masculine down for a conversation about what they're doing or not doing to make you happy. This is about you dropping in and not reacting, but really going to source and being accountable for you putting yourself in situations that aren't necessarily solid and go time. That is not the same as saying this masculine isn't your counterpart or it won't happen with them. This is saying don't run with extremes, don't run with over emotionality. This is a chance for you to really tune into what you're feeling instead of projecting it or blaming or looking outside of yourself for an external influence that you can use as a scapegoat. Don't be doing that. This is about all the answers being in you and being found in your connection to source. Clarity being found in that intimate connection you have with source. What is the advice for the masculines? To do the same thing, to be internally curious about what you're actually picking up on at this time, and also not running with storylines or directly talking to your feminine about certain things. This is open curiosity about ways to truly connect in high frequency. What is the near future? Tower and Princess of Wands. So more of that spiritual seeking. So this is a game changer energy where the collective that follows me here, the median energy for the group here is that the feminines are truly beginning to unlock their intuition as a consistent way of life from first person. That your intuition, feminines, has advanced beyond needing the answers to be shared through an oracle or tarot, but going straight to source and trusting your own heart and seeing your personal journey unfolding. This is game changer energy that you're not looking externally for this. What do the masculines need to know? Baby steps, one step at a time. I'm going to get some clarifiers here. Yeah, these ones. What is the baby step that the masculines can take at this time? Curiosity. We already got that message for the masculines. Curiosity supports our intrinsic inquisitive nature, which is the necessary driving force behind any growth and evolution. So this is what's going to keep you growing with your feminine, is being curious and being inquisitive at how you've both grown in this connection, how you can foster growth, how you can continue to bring in those perspectives and opinions that can put your feminine at ease, that can begin to have safer, more relevant conversations, the two of you, not being at odds, but having empathy and being able to connect about situations and circumstances and with more trust and flow. What is the advice for the feminines? Sensitivity. And this is internally. It came out in the inverse. So again, not being more sensitive to your masculine. That will come when you are more sensitive to what you're feeling. Every time you feel your masculine's being insensitive, you can turn that on yourself and ask, is there a way that I can be more finely attuned to what I'm feeling? If I'm perceiving my masculine isn't being sensitive enough, how can I give myself that? How can I up-level my own sensitivity? The frequency of sensitivity helps to open to the world of subtlety and detail while anchoring in a structural foundation. So you're going to do it first person. You're anchoring in a structural foundation by being able to use your sensitivity to subtly understand your emotions, your take on things, what you're feeling when you pick up on your masculine, or when you think certain thoughts, or when you're in certain situations with your counterpart or in karmic situations. It's all about paying attention to the nuance of where you're in balance, where you're not in balance, and laying this foundation where you can trust what you're picking up on and experiencing first person without needing anybody to tell you what that feels like or what it should be. But really trusting that when it's balanced, you're on the right track. When it's out of alignment or out of balance, you can seek higher guidance to understand how to bring it back into balance. That's the only relationship you ever need to focus on, and that literally does the work externally for you. You will naturally make the best choices for you when you can tell what that feels like internally to be in balance, because you will only make the choices that promote that balance for yourself from then on out. While anchoring a structural foundation, thus supporting us to become more fully multidimensional. Exactly. So when you can get this as first person as a way of life, there's no dimension you can't navigate into, because you know what balance feels like. And so if you get out of balance when you're going into some XYZ dimension, then you rein it back in, or you figure out how to balance it out. It's that way regardless of what dimension you're in. Okay, many blessings everyone. Bye for now.